Station Mailbox Store. This is just one of the businesses. We also have storage on the outside, which we're gonna get to in the next video. But right now, I'm gonna walk you through our Mailbox Store to break down the fundamentals, the science, the mindset, and ultimately how we're gonna make that money, all right? So lock in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into it. I've been in the business 9 years. Commercial real estate investor. See, most of us, we losing our own blessings because we want to get the whole pie. We want 100% of nothing.
I got business, credit, real estate. Got some assets on the market from recession up to date. I got business, credit, real estate.
Yo, I need to become more effective in less time. If it takes you 30 years to do something, I need to do it in 5. I'm not trying to wait time 30, 40 years in to retire, get a pension, then go get a second job and now work. No, I'm not doing it.
Funding for the business with a lower interest rate. I gon' get your LLC. You gon' need an EIN. You get verified online. A few more steps, you be right in. Get your headset in the game. We gon' need you to buy in. Execution is the loophole with the strings that we tie in.
When you buy self-storage, the traditional way is to have somebody that works the front desk. Right, so if you go to a public storage, a Cube Smart, Extra Space, you may see somebody working the desk that is helping you rent out your unit and all of that cool stuff. But now with technology, we do remote management. So now if you see out here, you have a QR code where you can scan and you can go online and you'll book your unit directly. So you save money now because you don't have to have somebody on payroll, right? We've been mastering the art of remote management. Right, so you have a cold calling center, you hire somebody to answer the phones, you put the technology in place, and now you don't need anybody to actually be at the physical location. But with the creative mailbox millionaire mind that we have, we need to turn every single space that we have into some type of money, some type of revenue, so we can increase the value, because ultimately that is our plan, right? So we said, okay, this office space is here and we're not utilizing it. Well, how can we become creative, getting the systems in place, buying the equipment, everything from A to Z, essentially, right? We had to actually spend a little over $30,000 for this build out, which is not a lot of money, right? A little over $30,000 to do this build out. This wall was not here. So we actually built this wall, right? So the reason why we built this is because after hours, when someone is not here actually working it, a customer can still come in, go to their unit, get their mail. So these are the mailboxes right here, as you can see, easy access. And I'll show you when we go back around here where we put the mail inside of it. All right. This actually comes down. And I'm not going to do it now because we got it looking nice and cool. But this actually comes down, that door closes, and then you are only able to be within this space. However, when we have our office hours and, we have our team member that's here working the facility, this will be open. And the goal is to do what? What y'all think the goal is? What y'all think? For the team member that's going to be working in his office, what is their goal when every single customer comes in? What? Sell. We want to make money because we in business, right? And the difference between buying a single family house or a duplex is more so set it and forget it. You put a tenant in there, they pay their rent and you move on. But here we're running an actual business. So as a customer comes in, they may be renting out a unit, but hey, do you need anything that you need to print out? Do you need any shipping? Do you need any notary services? Hey, look, we actually have U-Haul across the street. So we actually got in contact with U-Haul and they approved us to actually put some trucks. We're gonna rent out 4 spots across the street from the grocery store because we don't have enough parking right here. So we have get 4 spots from across the street. And now we have U-Haul. But the goal is to have multiple streams of income so that we can drive that dollar. That's ultimately the goal. So packing, shipping, mailboxes, that's physical and virtual, right? So we have a virtual mailbox as well. Notary services, U-Haul services, any like retail. So printing. Printing. I think that's, printing. Retail. So like if like locks, boxes, tape, like all of that cool stuff, we're gonna have some inventory here for it. Very minimal because we have that online as well. People can buy it online, but we'll still have it at more of a premium because it's an impulse purchase, right? So if you're here and you want to buy some boxes, it's gonna be a little bit higher than what you would do if you bought it online from my site. But it's a way for us to just generate more revenue. So this right here is the office. You see the mailboxes, right? So when the mail comes in, the team member that's going to be working this, we're going to have to just identify which box, the name, put it in there, just behind here. And as a customer, you go in the front and you get your mail. It's just that simple. What's funny is when we think about it, like all of these square boxes is considered real estate, right? When we think about real estate, we only think about buildings and we building up high. But when you buy a land, you also get the air rights to it as well, right? When you buy a building, you get space and everything that comes with it. So we got to figure out how do we maximize on the space. So I look at this as small pieces of real estate. Small pieces of real estate, which is more revenue that we're going to bring. And every single dollar that we add to the bottom line, that's more value that we're adding to our net worth. All right? You got that?
Got it.
All right, cool. So y'all can rotate. My bad. Y'all can rotate and go inside and see what that looks like. This back here, as y'all probably can see on the doors, is set up for each distribution carrier. So FedEx is right here, and we're still in the process. We're getting this stuff done back here slightly, but it's not as important as back there. I mean, as front, because the customers, that door closes, so they don't see anything back here, right? And then at the end of the night, we have that actually rolls down. Then it closes and it locks, right? But this is where all the packages are gonna be for FedEx. So when the FedEx guy comes, he knows exactly where his packages is. It's not disorganized, do what he needs to do, all right? Same thing, what's here? Oh no, they don't put nothing on that door. UPS right here, UPS, and then DHL. So DHL, FedEx, UPS, and
So everybody has their own.
yeah, everybody has their own room. And then you, huh? Them Shein packages.
Them Amazon packages.
And you build a relationship with the reps. So, you know, at some point they'll be able to come in on their own time, put a code on there that they'll have a code, and everybody has their own code. So we know who comes in, you know, and we could track it, and they could come in, get the packages, keep rolling, and we keep flowing. Marketing, very important. So again, because this is a new business, right? This is not an acquisition. We acquired the self-storage. So the area, and they know that self-storage is here, but the mailbox store is completely new. So for the first 3 months, we know that we have to spend a good amount of money on marketing so that we can bring a lot of exposure. So that's going to be coming through us doing a lot of events. So we have some money allocated to be able to host and sponsor different events so that people can understand that we are here and we also offer, you know, mailbox mailbox packing and shipping services. Yeah. How close is the nearest mailbox store? 5 miles out, which is in Columbus, Georgia. So that's 5 miles out. Anytime you buy a business, you know, we want to be within a 5 mile radius because it's a local business. So 5 miles, within 5 miles, the goal is to get everybody to come here versus going 15 minutes out. Now it was only 5 miles, only 15 minutes, but if I can go 3-5 minutes, then I'll go here. But out within 5 miles, we don't have no competition. Only slight competition that we do have is UPS, which is probably like 3 minutes away. And UPS, they have mailboxes, right? But they don't do printing, shipping, and all the other services that we're going to primarily be promoting and be our flagship service. Public relations. So, what are some of the marketing strategy or allocations that we have set up? So one of them, or the biggest one, is going to be public relations, right? So that's sponsoring different events. So we actually having a second grand opening. So she asked, in regards to our business, what are some marketing strategies or some allocations that we have in place to get more exposure to the business?
Sure. So we do Facebook geo-targeting ads. We do Google ads, SEO, SEM. It's important to build a website that is accessible. So we put QR codes around town. We go do grassroots marketing. So we have a lot of people that know us because we've showed up over there or we've called them a couple of times. We do ringless voicemails, going out to different businesses, letting them know that we have units available and we offer them discounted rates, things like that.
And can you give them the strategy behind the second official grand opening where we're going to get all the members of the community to come out and put them the mindset behind that?
Sure. So we go around to the local community while we're in town. Every time that we're in town, we sign up with the Chamber of Commerce and we get involved with our community and we outreach before we do an official grand opening. And then we invite everyone over to come and eat.
Here we go. That's why we got the experts, y'all. Here we go. All right, any other questions y'all want to ask? Anything in regards to, what's up?
For the notary part, are you training your staff for the person that's at the desk during the office hours, or are they notarized, like they go get certified to get notarized to do notarization?
Yes.
We'll
So
provide the training. Yeah.
the person that is going to be at the mailbox has to be certified notary and has to be able to fingerprint and has to be able to take passport pictures. They also have to have a license because it is important for them to be able to deal with people's mail and things like that. So yes, we make sure that they're certified, background check, all that.
There we go. You got the right team doing. See, we doing passports. All right. What else? Any other questions?
What's the timeline for completing construction?
Say that again.
What's the timeline for completing construction? Actually starting.
So it's usually about 60 days before you know what's going on, and it takes another 60 days to kind of get it up and running because there's an auction process. And if you don't know who the tenants are and things like that, you won't know what's actually going on with your units until you've actually identified all the problems. So it's a process. And usually it's about 30 days to kind of identify what's going on, 60 days to get things rolling, and another 60 days for, the paperwork and, following the laws, the lien laws per state.
Yeah.
So about 120 days. That was a long-winded answer.
120 days, you got control of all the vacant units or non-paying tenants that left behind.
Yeah. Could be longer if you don't invest your money back into it.
Right.
If you say you want to put it off a little bit longer because you have available units, but to get it fully operational, yeah.
So are you calling everybody? How does that process?
So we do a lot of different options there. So we do ringless voicemails that go out. It's just the same generic message that, hey, we're trying to get in touch with you. And then it is illegal to tell them that you're calling about a bill.
Okay.
So you don't ever say that you're calling about a bill. It's just, hey, I'm calling from Smith Station. I'm calling about your account. I need to speak to you as soon as possible. You also call them yourself after you've sent out ringless voicemails. When you send out the ringless voicemails, the people that get the voicemail, they'll call you back. So if you call people one by one, then you spend a lot of time on the phone. So we call ringless voicemails. We send out emails, text messages. We send out a regular mail. And if they do not respond to that, we send certified notification.
Any other questions? This is good stuff.
I got a question. As far as the outreach that you're doing in order to invite them to the grand opening, I don't know if I heard, so I'll just ask. I heard you're doing SEO ads, but are you what are the forms that you're reaching out as far as outbound to invite them to the grand opening?
So again, ringless voicemail. So you can identify all of your local businesses. So we identify all the local businesses. We send ringless voicemails. You get their emails, so you can email blast them. You join your Chamber of Commerce, and then they will email blast everyone that's in the chamber. So there's about 90 people here that are part of the chamber. And then you can also reach out to your neighboring cities and join their commerce as well. Do the same thing.
And at that grand opening, you're just inviting them in for a tour of the facility, basically?
So usually you have some food. Everyone comes together, they network, so it's a good time for them to get together. And you can also network at their events, and everyone kind of keeps the ball rolling. So
Very smart, yeah.
you bring them all in, and then everybody gets a chance to eat.
I love it. Awesome.
Yeah. Sure.
What are some things that an operator should look for in a solid property management company in the self-storage industry?
Let me say from my perspective as an operator, and then you can say from your perspective, operating, right? Manager. So I've purchased facilities prior to this, right? Prior to bringing on Rebecca and Elijah, and the management company was very corporate, right? And they do a good job from a KPI standpoint, analytical, really following the process, but not as creative, right? So I think, at least for me, I'm looking for a management company that's willing to be creative, something like this. There's some management companies that won't touch this. They're like, I only do storage. This is not my lane, so they don't want to take on this and have that. So as an owner operator, I'm looking for a management company that's going to be creative. management company that's forward thinking, right? So how do you leverage AI into your system so that we can actually save more money? Because if you just hit me with a bunch of invoices, that will happen. You have a management company that every single month invoice mad, right? Because it's not coming out of their pocket, right? So they're just thinking of, all right, we just operating, but you need a management company that thinks as the owner. So they're thinking about the bottom line as well. They're thinking about the business just like you to save you money. Like I remember when Rebecca first we got onto this project, she's like, oh no, this costs too much money. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, it's okay, we have the reserves for it, so let's do it. But I appreciate it because she was thinking about me and the investment and making sure, because she could just say, hey, let's spend all this money on this. Let's, but it's like about being efficient. So that's one of the things that I'm looking for. And then also attention to the detail, right? So we do have another sign out there that we working on put together, but we actually, that's another stream of income that we're gonna add is advertising. So on the self-storage facility, this is not even my thought, this was her idea, right? Like we have additional space and a lot of people driving by, instead of just putting more signage of, hey, Smith Station, they already see Smith Station, all right? How much Smith Station can we show? Well, let's actually do some advertising and charge other business owners to be able to put their signage or their things on the facility. So that's another stream of income, right? So being creative, understanding attention to detail, and what else I said? Being forward thinking. Now you can add to that.
So I can say like what I see typically when I take over a facility, what is missing from other management companies. A lot of times I see that they are not actually notating accounts or like paying attention to the detail like he was saying. So their delinquency rates are much higher because they don't actually, so making sure that they have a process in line for their delinquency, making sure that they're getting like alternate contacts or what are the forms of contact that you go through for, when you take on a tenant, making sure that they get proper documentation. So do they make sure that every lease is signed? Because a lot of property management companies, they don't have that. And that could cost you in the end if something happens. And what are their hours that they operate? So when do they answer the phone? So do they operate from only 9 to 5? Or are they off on weekends? Things like that. And then who's answering the phone? Because in certain areas, you cannot have Filipinos answering the phone. And people don't like it. It's a small business. It's a small town. And they like the home feeling. They don't want other people coming in. So you have to be careful with, who's answering your phone, how much attention to detail do they have, and what is their delinquency processes, and then are they going to charge you for like setting up an auction and things like that.
All right, let's keep rolling. We got to get to outside. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. We're going to see you in the next one.